As far as leads go, I'm all for building the buildings to LEED specifications. That's not where the problem lies. The problem lies is the expense that it costs to actually get the LEED certification. The cost is in getting the certification, not actually as much in doing the LEED quality work, the double windows. It's more that once they come in to try and certify, it costs so much money. So I'm in favor of following that as a guide, but not so much demanding that our buildings are LEED certified.
Others? Yeah.
Thank you. As a senior project manager, albeit in the technology field, one of the important aspects of any project is the planning phase. To sit here and say, oh, well, an overrun just happened, they just don't happen. It goes back to poor planning on these items. Will changes happen? Do you have to adjust in the field? Sometimes yes, and then you have to go out and bond again. But for the overruns and for the planning of these projects, where was the oversight? We weren't informed. We didn't know. Those are not good answers to me as a project manager. If I'm sitting on that board, I will be involved in the planning phase for these projects if that's the committee that I'm on. We need proper oversight when it comes to these construction projects to make sure they're finished on time, on budget, so that people of Bergen County don't have to foot the bill on overruns.
Others? John?
I think your reference to the mention of the LEED certification in 2013, I think that was my recommendation when I was on the Freeholder board. I come from that background. LEED certification comes in two respects. One is, of course, you make the building is sustainable as possible. But there's a second element that's very important, and that is the return on investment. If in fact the return on investment makes sense and that you can recoup the cost over a relatively short period of time, the benchmark is usually 5 years or less, I'm for LEED certification. And it's various degrees, you have platinum, gold, silver, etc. But nonetheless, LEED certification is the way we should go here in Bergen County.
Others? Peter?
I too agree that we should implement LEEDs only if it is cost effective. If we implement all types of new standards that don't give us any return on investment, as John said, it's not worth doing. If the federal government doesn't mandate it on us, we should not mandate it upon ourselves. It'll just increase cost. It needs to be cost effective. When it comes to the overruns with the Justice Center, I've spoken personally with Joseph Profassi, who was the former DPW chief, who was in charge of this project. He assured me personally that while he was managing this project, it was on time and on budget. I blame all of these increases on the transition from the two different administrations, going from Donovan's to the Escos. Somebody's not watching the shop. Thank you.
I have a feeling Tracy wants this.
Of course, that's what Joseph Profassi said, because that's who was not watching the store as far as this was concerned. I mean, the question of where is the oversight, that's a question that we've been asking continuously. There should have been a project manager put on this. That was not disclosed to us. We asked these questions during the questions on the budget on the Justice Center. We made sure that there was a project manager in place. That project is on time and on budget. We just opened the parking garage. That project was also on time and on budget. The fact that there was no project manager put in place is part of the challenges that we faced as far as this project was concerned. But as far as the LEED certification, I mean, listen, we need to be doing all that we can to reduce our footprint, to putting in green roofs, making sure that we're putting in the double pane windows and solar panels and things that will increase efficiencies in our building. But I agree, sometimes that certification process in and of itself is something that's cumbersome and should be something that we look at in a case-by-case basis.
Anybody else see this? Actually, we already have this, right? Okay, we'll do one reply. Anybody else need this? Tom, do you want this? You haven't done, he hasn't gone first, so go ahead.
I just want to say that when it comes to leads, it should definitely, I agree with Freeholder Resort, that it needs to be done on a case-by-case basis. Anytime we can be cost efficient, we definitely should. But I just want to reiterate, and I know Freeholder Resort hit it right on the head, that Justice Center is on time and on budget. And as far as the explanations go for the cost overruns, I was not happy about it at all. But the Freeholder Board is just the funding arm of the county. We don't have the proper information that was withheld or done erroneously in the prior administration, which it was. When we received the bond ordinance this year, every single freeholder looked at it, and it was different from what it was the previous year. Somebody dropped the ball, not this year. We picked it up this year. It had to be dealt with, and we dealt with it. So if the Justice Center and the parking garage are 100% on budget, and as far as the explanation goes, listen, I wasn't the freeholder chairman when this was put out for bid, or when this deserved a construction manager. All I'm telling you is we can only deal with the information that we have. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. If these projects were considered on time and on budget, how are we answering a question on budget overruns?
The budget overrun, really quickly, was on the DPW building. That's what we're referring to, not on the Justice Center or the parking garage. This bond went out one lump
My
sum.
question included both the Justice Center and the DPW. It is time, and we are going to take that extra 10 minutes at the end, but it is time to allow questions from the audience. And not surprised there's some hands up. Let's.
Third microphone.
What we want to be sure to do is, if you want someone specific to answer the question, you ask that specific question. And we're going to try to limit the amount of time to any individual question.
Are you going to call on?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's start with that lady behind the purple one.
The lady behind the lady?
The lady with the white name. You were looking at it, okay.
Hi, my name is Mildred, and I have interest in Bergen County Healthcare Center. That's the only facility that the county owns. It's a historical location. It's very important because that's where our vulnerable elderly county residents who've lived a long time, pay taxes, worked hard. Now they no longer have the resources for the long-term care that's needed for Alzheimer's and other illnesses. And I'd like to know what your position is in the county continuing to run it moving forward.
Anybody want that?
Ma'am, so I understand the question about, you're talking about the long-term care facility at Bergen Regional Medical Center, right?
Yes, in Rockland.
Oh, Rockland. I have to, okay, I have to admit, I'm unaware of the center in Rockland. The first, my typical answer would be this. No, let me defer this, because I thought you were talking about the Bergen Regional Medical Center.
To my understanding, the Bergen Regional was not owned by the, to my understanding, the Bergen Regional is not owned by the county, but the Bergen County Healthcare Center on Piermont Road is.
I'm sorry, yeah, I'm going to have to defer to someone else, because I don't know anything about that in Rockland. I know a little bit about
What we need to be sure to do, folks, is get a question out within 20 or 30 seconds. We need the question on the table. Does anybody want this question?
I'll answer that. In terms of the Rockley Center, in a very, very quick way, it should be continued. It does great work. Obviously, let's pay attention to the management of the place, but it does great work. And if we could expand it for our growing senior population, we should.
Hey, gosh, I'm talking. Let's go to this side over here. Behind you, Mark. Yeah. Okay.
Hi, my name is Lauren Tola, I'm president of TNEC. My question is for the current incumbent.
Can you hold it right up to your mouth, please?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Great. So my question is for the current incumbents. You've spoken about costs that you didn't know of because they were dropped ball, previous freeholders, and you didn't know about these costs, so you had to take care of them in the budget, and there was no transparency. So I'd like to know what measures you've put in place so that there is transparency, and what legislation have you passed so that going forward there will not be a drop ball and costs for a future board of freeholders, so that we won't have this problem again in the future. No answer is no.
No. First of all, I want to just clarify the question, because it wasn't the former freeholders. It was the former county executive who's no longer present and no longer sitting in office. So the first thing that we have had is a much more open dialogue with the county executive. And it has been a bipartisan dialogue, making sure that we're all incorporated in a lot of these decisions. So we're kind of seeing where how the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. But it's one of those. I think that that's a challenge that, and part of the reason why she's no longer sitting in the county executive seat is the issues of these management issues. So I think that we're going to be doing a lot better job going forward. It's more so an issue of making sure that that kind of open communication is fostered across the aisle.
Does anybody else want this?
Just really quickly, I'm sorry, John. I also have asked for oversight for our DPW directors and department heads to come when these projects are going on, to come and give us periodic updates so that we know where we stand, so that we don't have this problem. Once we realized with the new bond ordinance, with the correct number on, that there was a problem with the number from that point on, we started demanding that they came in front of us with oversight and give us updates on these projects. That's how we knew that it was the DPW garage that was out of whack, not the Justice Center or the parking garage. So we are making sure that we have oversight on every project that's going on in the county.
John?
And just very quickly, and it's the way the contracts are written with our vendors that come in, we have to put the onus on the contractors, not the taxpayer. If there's a delay, if there is a mistake, it should be on the vendor or the contractor, not on us, the taxpayers. And right now, the way the contracts are drawn up, that language really needs to be tightened up.
And the person beside Nick Lento, was the guy. Actually, we'll get you next, man.
This is addressed to all of the candidates. A week ago, actually 2 weeks ago, at a Freeholder meeting, former Teaneck firefighter Bill Brennan and the mayor of Carlstadt and a few other people raised a lot of